up, people? Welcome back to another episode of Stars and Garters. I'm Katie Pettit, and you guys, if you watch my channel at all, you probably know that I love stories, and you may or may not also know that I love books as well. I do know how to read. I'm even wearing book merch right now. I recently endeavored to read one of the most divisive books of all time to see if it's really awful as people say, and that book is Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. So, a bit of backstory about why I would choose to do this to myself. So, for a college lit class this semester, I was told to pick a book by an American author in the last, 200 years. Sure, I could have chosen Hunger Games, or Divergent, or Percy Jackson, or any of the other books that people have been begging me to read that are in genres that I actually enjoy. But instead, I decided I wanted to challenge myself a little. I don't like romance books, and I have no particular interest in vampires or werewolves, so what better way to challenge myself than to read a book about a vampire werewolf love triangle. So, to be fair, I do want to start by saying I have watched all of the movies in the Twilight series at my lovely cousin Sarah's request because she loves them. And I will go on record as saying that the movies are a whole lot worse than the books. So, if you hate the movies, you might not quite as fervently hate the books. The movies take all of the problems of the book, like Edward's stalker-like tendencies and Bella's general lack of personality, and just exaggerates them. And it also starts the love triangle. Ugh, I hate love triangles. Almost immediately, even though Jacob appears maybe once in the first book. I literally couldn't even remember his name while writing this outline because he was there maybe twice, and he is 15, so ew. And I want to give credit where credit is due, so let's start by naming some of the book pros. With all of that said, I don't think the book just entirely sucked. There were some redeeming qualities. First of all, Stephanie Meyer isn't just an untalented writer. Her prose is really nice most of the time, and she's really good at describing setting specifically, which is something I personally suck at, so it was impressive to me. So because of that, because she definitely has a way with words, I think the book was bearable to read, besides the fact that it was 498 pages with a really thin plot. Edward does have some actual moments of charm towards Bella in the book, unlike in the movies where he's just kind of and just creepy. He actually is a little funny sometimes, and sometimes you can kind of see, okay, he's a little charming. The mainly biggest pro of these books, both of the dads, Charlie and Carlisle, were great characters who deserve better children than these two idiot protagonists. If this was a story about Charlie discovering that his beloved hometown was full of vampires and then teaming up with Carlisle and the other good vampires to kill the bad ones, I probably would have loved it. But yeah, Charlie is just a decent dude. He just loves his town. He's a good cop. He loves his daughter. He tries to do what's best for her, and she totally disrespects him for no good reason. And then Carlisle actually has he's one of the only fleshed out characters in the whole thing. He actually has a backstory and a reason for doing anything, unlike most of the characters in this book. So Charlie and Carlisle, excellent. 10 out of 10 characters. Love them. They deserve better. So much better. And so that's all the good stuff that I could think about. Now let's talk about the bad stuff, which unfortunately is going to be with the majority of this episode. I completely agree with and acknowledge the fact that Edward and Bella's relationship is incredibly toxic, but I don't think that's the main problem with the story. It's maybe the most glaring problem and the most famous problem, but I don't think it's the worst thing about the book. The main problem with this book is one Bella Swan. Now, I could talk for hours about how Bella's just a crappy person. She's whiny, selfish, stupid, passive, and a million other bad things. But obviously, a bad person doesn't necessarily equal a bad character. Think Endeavor or Draco Malfoy. So, Bella's problem is that she doesn't do anything. A good character, protagonist especially, needs to move the plot along and somehow, and not just be moved by it. Bella does nothing to progress the story. She just happens to meet Edward. He happens to think she smells good and fall in love with her. James happens to become obsessed with her and want to bite her. It's a far too long, drawn-out love story with vampiric coincidences to further the plot. And then the next biggest problem with the story, other than Bella being a completely unqualified protagonist, is the terrible themes of this story. Now, I'm not actually great at catching specific themes in stories because I'm still not sure what the definition of a theme is. Every time I see a definition of it, it's always so vague, and I just like friendship could be a theme. Like, what does that mean? But the theme of Twilight is pretty evident. It's true love. And I don't like romance, but like I'm not a heartless old troll and I have no problem with the idea of true love. I do, however, have a problem with how Twilight defines true love. Bella and Edward choose their love, or more accurately lust from the way that they talk about it, over literally everything else. They choose love over family, over self preservation, over like any common sense at all. Because like Bella would have been great for my strong female characters episode. She's the exact opposite of one. She loses all of her cognitive functions whenever Edward is involved. Like the story, it's not just cringe. It is cringe, to be completely clear. It's cringe, but it's kind of problematic as well. Now, I firmly believe that you can read and enjoy reading whatever the heck you want to, as long as it isn't sinful or causing you to sin. If you are a fairly mature person and you genuinely enjoy Twilight, I have no problem with that, genuinely. I think you should be allowed to enjoy fiction without being looked down on, and one of my biggest pet peeves is people who are like, you like that. But when I say it's problematic, I'm not talking about the mature person who likes a love story and is a hopeless romantic, which is fine, like, really. I'm talking about the immature 15-year-old girl who picks this book up to read for fun because she heard it's a good love story. I don't think it's far-fetched to think that maybe that girl gets so wrapped up in, oh my gosh, Edward sounds hot, that she thinks like acting like Bella is how one gets hot guys, and that could be bad because Bella does a lot of very stupid things. Hey, I take back what I said before, that Bella doesn't do anything, but everything she does is stupid and just like like hopelessly lovesick. Like, yeah, yes, teenage girl reading Twilight, lie to your father and let a strange older boy drive you into the woods. Not like, if you haven't seen Twilight, not even kidding. Like, Edward drives her into the woods and then explains all of the ways that he could kill her in these woods. Like, yeah, I'm sure that's a great way to start your relationship. And I'm sure it could be seen as romantic in some eyes, but me personally, I would be like, this is the part where I go to the police and get a restraining order. And I mean, her dad's a cop, so it shouldn't be that hard. And like, really hated the way that Bella treated her dad. Also, like in the end, when she's trying to get away from James, like she just completely like breaks his heart and like to him and like says terrible things to him because like for his safety, which by the way she never would have had to if she hadn't decided to date the guy who keeps saying she smells yummy. So in conclusion, for anyone who does happen to enjoy Twilight, look, I've been told some of my favorite stories are dumb and bad and problematic before, like Captain Marvel or The Marvels, and I ignored those people. Please feel free to ignore me as well and enjoy this story. I really think you should be allowed to do that. I just want to caution you against recommending this particular story to someone who is not as discerning or mature, because I think it could lead to some problematic things, especially if they are younger and maybe a romantically inclined young woman. So, thank you guys for watching this little review of mine. Make sure to subscribe or follow, and make sure to comment. Tell me what you think about Twilight. Are you a Twilight fan? Because I would love to hear your reasons. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye bye.